Hey guys, Shane here from Master Electricians. I'm down here today at Sheriff Wacol. We're here today to talk about changes in the new Queensland Electrical Safety Regulation. Specifically though, we'll just be touching on turning power off before we enter the roof space. Now we're here to see Will, who's the BDM here. I'm sure he's got a few questions prepped for us about the changes, what they are and how they'll be implemented, so follow me. How are you, Will?
G'day mate, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to come down.
That's all right, mate. Thanks for letting me be here. You guys are always super helpful whenever I'm in here for parts and stuff. And I also see that you might have some questions for me about the changes in legislation.
Yeah mate, so it's been a couple of years since I've been on the tools, but my first question is, does this apply to all trades or just sparkies?
Oh, mate, great question. So how legislation is worded, it says all persons conducting a business or undertaking, or PCBUs per se, they are affected by this legislation. So whether you're a pest controller or a building inspector hopping up the ceiling just to have a look at the trusses, you are expected to turn the main switch off in the building. So again, not just sparkies, everyone.
And if I'm standing at the board and I can't see a main switch or can't identify a main switch, what do I do then?
Another great question. Now, I've been to a few different jobs where there's been no main switch in the board, just a few final sub-circuits. Look, if it's a community style setup where there's a distribution board upstream, isolate it there. If that's not the case, I would turn all the final sub-circuits off within that switchboard, right? In saying that, mate, also a great idea if you turn up to a board and there's no main switch, come down here, grab one of these. Now, this is a red toggle main switch circuit breaker. All right, it's got a red little lever on it. This is a 3-phase one. What you should do is put one of these in if there's no main switch. It's a great way to differentiate between a circuit breaker main switch and the rest of your final sub-circuits. All right, mate, hit me.
And does this apply to every building or just a few of them?
Again, it doesn't apply to every class of building. There's only 3 classes of buildings that are affected. The first one is Class 1A buildings, so your normal residential type structures. There's Class 2 buildings as well, which is apartment or community style strata type blocks, and one more, which is Class 10A. So these are things like sheds, carports, and the like, mate. So again, so Class 1, Class 2, and Class 10A.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, mate, but if I've isolated the main switch and I go up in a ceiling and say they've got solar or overhead mains, wouldn't there still be live cables up in that ceiling space?
Great point, mate, and you are right. So even if you turn the main switch off, that cable from that main switch all the way up to the point of attachment is still going to be energized, which means there's still risk up there. In that case, you must do 2 things. You've got to complete a risk assessment, and you've also got to do a work entry statement. That work entry statement basically has your risks in it documented and the controls for the risks you put in place. So cables are still live on the roof even if you've turned the main switch off. Do a risk assessment and a work entry statement.
And once the job's done, can I throw those documents away or do I need to hold on to them?
Another good question, mate. So yes, you've got to keep the risk assessment and the work entry statement for 28 days unless there's an incident. If that's the case, you've got to keep it for at least 2 years. All right, now that we've got those sorted, have you got any other questions?
I think that's all for now, mate.
All right, thanks for being here. Look, guys, if you've got any more questions on this document, MEA has done a guide. So let's say you've got a question about, I put a downlight out of the ceiling and I'm putting my hand up there. Is that technically going into the roof space? Now, this document here that we've done up answers all those questions. So while you're in store grabbing your gear off Will, come and grab one of these and have a read.
Perfect.
Thanks
for your
Will.
time.